Okay, we've got through removing the 3 skid plates is step 1. Step 2, we've removed the sway bar disconnect system. And something I like to do before I start taking everything apart is these cam bolts that you can get to now from removing the skid plates front and rear and from removing the sway bar disconnect. I like to go through and paint mark them just so that when I go to put it back, I can at least have it somewhat in the same vicinity. Step 3, after we've done skid plates, sway bar disconnect, I'm going to loosen up upper strut bolts. There's 3 on the top of each strut tower. I'm going to loosen and remove the lower 2 bolts in the bottom of the strut into the A-arm. I'm going to remove the tie rod in this bolt here and remove the tie rod. And then I'm going to loosen, not remove, but just loosen both cam bolts for now. Take the nuts off and leave the bolts in. And that way I can drop this whole assembly out this way. Now, when I take the 3 nuts off up top, I leave 1 just barely threaded so that whole assembly can't fall out. So now I have the upper strut bolts removed. I left 1 just kind of hand tight, just so the whole thing can't fall out. The lower 2 are out, tie rod end is out. Both cam bolts are loose. So now I can pull those and drop the lower A-arm out, droop it out, so be able to pull that shock assembly out. Now I just need to loosen these 2. So now that this is down and out of the way, you can pivot it. I'll hold the strut assembly and release this one upper. And just like that, there's your shock. This is the 4th step. First was remove skid plates. Second was remove the sway bar, disconnect setup, or just the regular sway bar if that's what you have. 3rd step was to loosen and remove the strut itself. So step 4 is going to be to put it back, that's what I'm going to show you now. Okay, so here's the factory Bilstein shock. If you see in here, I've installed my 2.25 inch front lift collar, and we're going to put that back in now. Now I just put 1 nut up top for now, just loose. These 2 just kind of loose, just so you can still move everything around. And since I've got the lower A-arm loose, that makes it easier to get the cam bolts back in and manipulate, kind of getting everything lined up. So, cam bolts are tight, lower shock bolts are tight, tie rod end bolt tight, 3 on top. So that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 per side. Okay, so both struts are now back on, everything's tight. What I would consider to be the 5th step would be to put the sway bar back on. And then the 6th step would be to put the skid plates back on. So I'm not gonna video that. It's just the reverse order of what you already took off, just putting them back in. All done with the front end.